Buy-ins is your everyday thing that you're going to be doing as a dealer. When you go in for your audition, you don't know if you're going to be doing one of these. So you want to make sure that you practice it. Regardless, you're a dealer. You're going to have to be able to do this all the time and make sure you're accurate, all right? So here at this table, we have a $5 minimum. If you have a table that's $5 to $15, any buy-ins that you have, you want to give them at least $100 in red. The rest you can give in like green. Try to avoid the black as much as possible, along with the purple and up from there. Try to avoid that because your supervisor is trying to keep track of that stuff. So let's get started. So here we have a player that's trying to hand me the cash, and we actually cannot take any cash from the player's hand. So ask the player to place it on the table very politely. Thank you so much, sir. And you see, we have to like act just like that. Alrighty. So when you receive the bills, what you want to do is organize them, starting with the highest first and the lowest towards the bottom. And the way that I like to have it set up is in the opposite direction of where I'm going to be placing it, so that way the camera sees one side, and when I go to flip it, the camera sees the other side. The goal to when we do our buy-ins is showing the camera both sides of the bill. Also, part of our job is verifying that the bill is real. So here I go. I'm going to check it just like this. Bam. Making sure it feels real, looking at things. Not bringing it up this high looking at it, because when you do that, you leave all of this exposed, your rack exposed, which you do not want to do. Now, since I have a different bill, it needs to be a new row. So if I had about like 6 bills of 20s, I would make 5 and then 1. But in this situation, I have 2 different kinds of bills. So 20, and then I make a new row for the 10s. So again, checking, verifying, making sure it's real. It's all legit. There we go. So from here, you're going to cut out the amount that you see, which we have 90. So since this minimum is $5 and this amount here is under 100, I'm just going to give them all red. And since this buy-in is under $100, this is going to be an alert call that I'm about to make. So I have everything staged, set up, looking pretty. Money coming in goes on the left, money going out goes on the right. And we're kind of imagining a nice little line here. And then we're going to stand like this, and we're going to announce changing 90. All right? The term changing is just letting us know that it's cash. Then we say 90 for the amount that we're sending out. And then our supervisor will either confirm, but because it's an alert call, meaning it's under $100, this alert call is going to be an immediate thing. So let me reenact this real quick. I cut everything out. Changing 90. Stack it up. Then put your finger on top and then send it to the player, not leaving the money on any betting spots. Then sweep up the bills, bringing them over to your little drop slot. All right, so strap that right in there. And then you're good to go to do your next buy-in. So I wanted to give you guys 2 more examples of buy-ins. One is going to be an approval call, and another one is going to be another way you can kind of handle a buy-in, and I'll show you other than explaining it. So let's start with, oh, please, sir, can you place that on the layout? Thank you so much. So I'm over here getting everything ready to go. Here at Crescent, we want you to have them flipped on the other side. But please understand that your casino, it's going to be different. At your casino, they might have every bill face up or every bill face down. Here at Crescent, we just kind of teach you the face down way. So checking, verifying, making sure everything's legit. And we're going to create a row of 5. And since we have another one, we're creating a second row. All right. Then, since our table minimum is $5, we're going to make sure we give them at least $100 in red. So in this situation, you can put these 2 stacks next to each other. This stack is 100. This stack is going to be 500. This total would be 600, which is exactly what you have here. Now, instead of breaking down both of these stacks, you can break down just the big stack to help identify that this one is also 20 units. All right, so then from here, you may sit back and say, changing 600.
Change it.
This is an approval call. We would have to stand here and wait until we hear the supervisor say, change it, which he did. So then now I'm able to stack it up and then send it to my player without leaving it on the betting circle. Then go ahead and sweep up the cash, dropping it into the little slot. All right, example 3. Could you please place that on the layout? Thank you so much. All right, so here we have a player that has a bunch of $50 bills. Now, when it comes to any other bill, you're going to set it up in rows of 5. But when it comes to the $50 bill, you're going to be setting up in rows of 4. So, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, something else, you guys. When you want to save some space on your layout, when you have like a ton of bills, it is completely okay to place them like this. You just want to make sure that the number is completely visible. All right, you don't have to do the angle. You can condense things. It's completely fine. So right there, bam. So here we have $400. So I'll get my 3 and then 100 in red. So change 400.
Change it.
And I'm making sure I'm not covering the bet or the money. There you go. And that's it. That's how you do buy-ins. Something that we wanted to make sure we touched on and included was when it comes to your buy-ins and your check change is when you have them come to the table, of course, you can knock it out. But if you're in the middle of a hand, you can do it for the players in that hand. You can't have some random new player just suddenly sit down and want to do a buy-in or check change or something like that. No, they have to actively be playing in the hand. Not only that, you're going to handle everyone as you get to their hand. So if someone needed to do a double down over here and he needed like $10 more and he had pulled that cash out of his pocket to do that hand, you need to finish everyone else over here first before you end up doing change for this individual here. All right. When it comes to making change for like the cocktail waitress, that is one of those things where as a dealer, you're not supposed to. You're only supposed to do change or check change to complete a hand, not necessarily for like tips and whatnot for like the cocktail waitress. But don't get me wrong, guys. A lot of us still kind of do it because we do care about our fellow, coworkers being like, hey guys, we're helping you out. And they got things to do. They're trying to take care of a lot of people. So sometimes it's kind of nice. But yeah, guys. Change 100.
Change it.
$13, $17. Ooh. So today we are going to be talking about check change. All right, so before we get started with check change, I want you to make sure that you understand the difference between when you're doing change or like changing out cash versus a chip or a check. This is a check, okay, because it has value. So changing is for cash. Check change is for checks. All right? So let's begin. So here we have someone that wants to do a buy-in with some checks. We set the checks on the left side. Whenever someone does a buy-in, it doesn't matter if it's right here or whatever, or even if it's really close to where it's supposed to be. Touch it first to show that you're like, yes, I see, I'm paying attention, I counted it, all right? Because if you don't do that, a lot of people can say you didn't even count that shit. You just went and put money out and gave it away for the heck of it. All right, so here I did Cheque-Change 75. So the same rule that applies for your cash applies for your checks. So this is under $100. This would be considered an alert call. So Cheque-Change 75. Be sure not to leave it on the little betting circle. Then sweep this up, lock it up. Then you're ready for your next one. All right, so now we're going to do another example, this time doing an approval call. So this individual wants to do a buy-in with 100, one black. So I'm going to set them up. Cheque-Change 100, one black.
Change it.
That was an approval call. We waited for our supervisor to give us approval before actually sending it. Always be sure money coming in on the left, money going out goes on the right. Make sure everything is staged, set nice and pretty when you're doing an approval call, okay? Kind of think about it like you're making a screenshot for the camera upstairs.